From Nevada to the southeast we go. Kathleen Overchuk joins us in studio with a story about a man and creepy creatures living side by side.
Hilton Head Island, South Carolina is a famous tourist destination. It's known for its sugar sand beaches and family-friendly atmosphere. 2.5 million people visit Hilton Head each year, and another 40,000 make the island their permanent residence. But people aren't the only ones calling Hilton Head their home. The island is also home to a scaly creature, thousands of them, and one man is trying to make sure that those creatures and people live together in harmony. Hilton Head Island can best be described as something out of a Norman Rockwell painting, a slice of life that appears picture perfect. It's a place where tourists travel by 2 wheels rather than 4, where owning a boat is less about status and more about lifestyle. A family-friendly environment with Southern hospitality.
If you're glad you're here, say hello.
It's hard to describe it without being here. You need to come and see it.
Hilton Head claims it's the first eco-planned destination in the United States, meaning it's a place where people and the environment coexist, an ecosystem where man and gators live side by side. And we do mean side by side. You see, on this island, gators are everywhere. Just look around and you'll see them in ponds, lakes, rivers, and on golf courses. You might even want to check your swimming pool before diving in. They sometimes end up there too. Alligators also turn up on area beaches. Just go to YouTube and watch as visitors to Hilton Head show off their gator encounters.
Alligators can be anywhere at any time.
And if there's anyone on Hilton Head that knows about gators, it's Joe Maffo, better known as Alligator Joe.
But they're amazing creatures. They're the last dinosaur.
Joe has been working with gators over 20 years. His company is Critter Management.
We've got the Palmetto Electric Gator. It's out by the flagpoles.
Every day, Joe and his staff receive calls from residents and tourists around Hilton Head. They ask him to come rescue them from an alligator.
Most of our gated communities and subdivisions have alligators.
So every day, Alligator Joe heads out from the shop and hits the road to answer those calls.
We got a call on one now we're going to that's got a fish hook and a bobber in its mouth.
The call came from a local state park that has lots of gators. Joe knows this spot well. It's also a place where children play.
I get a call about an alligator approaching people. The first thing I do is go evaluate it, see if it in fact is true.
Because tourists and locals feed the gators, even where there are signs prohibiting such behavior, the problem is growing. Joe proves the point with a simple marshmallow.
That's actually bad, huh?
And it's bad because this gator should not care about this type of food.
If he's aggressive, he'll come out of the water and up the bank. And if he comes up the bank looking for some food, I have to remove him.
So Joe doesn't see the gator with the bobber in its mouth. He decides to evaluate this one instead. So how do you catch a gator? Well, with a special hook and reel. The reptile is snagged just behind its front leg. Then Joe pulls it out of the water. He examines the gator.
Perfect gator. Just too bad he's been fed.
So what will you do with this one though, Joe?
I'm gonna let him go.
And Joe decides to grant him a second chance, something this gator hunter tries to do as much as possible. Well, it's now off to the next gator rescue. This one is on a golf course. The gator is over 8 feet long.
All right, what I'm doing is setting up a snare so that all I have to do is put this over the gator's head and pull it.
He heads to where the gator was last spotted.
The law delegates what I can do. The alligators, anything we get our hands on, are to be destroyed by law.
That's one right there.
That's the one I want to see. I think he's over there.
But not every rescue is successful. Joe can't even find the alligator here on the golf course. While on this job, he gets another call.
Thanks, man. Got another gator call.
This next call takes Alligator Joe to an upscale neighborhood on the island. A homeowner spotted a gator in a retention pond and wants it out. Joe understands the caller's concern, but believes man and gators can coexist.
We can all live in the same environment. Alligators stay to their domain and we stay at ours and everything's fine.
And it's Alligator Joe's lucky day. He spots the gator, he casts his line, and he hooks it. He reels this one in. Although he knows when you catch a wild alligator, you are taking a chance with your own life.
He wants to hurt you, he wants to eat you, he wants to get away from you, and he's going to do that by any means he possibly can.
So Joe gets the gator on a grassy surface.
It's only a little over 5 feet, but that's what they want out of here.
So Joe carefully closes the gator's mouth and tapes it shut for the time being.
They've lost 2 cats, and they think he's the culprit. I don't.
You don't believe that, right?
No. I just think it's an excuse to get rid of an alligator. They don't want them. They don't understand them. They don't want them.
Joe believes the real problem for most wildlife is mankind.
We're taking their habitat. Every time we start a bulldozer, all the wildlife in that area is being disrupted. The snakes are all running for their lives, the gators. All wildlife is being because of man. But I would like to relocate him. He hasn't done anything wrong. It's people aren't familiar with him.
Joe loads him into his truck and it's off to find a safe pond for the gator.
They're so unique. They're the last dinosaur. They're amazing creatures. They can survive anything that God's throwing at them.
He heads across town and he wants to remind anyone that visits Hilton Head Island to keep some things in mind.
We need to educate our tourists not to feed the alligators. People, pay attention. Don't approach an alligator with babies. And don't walk your dog around lagoons. But just pay attention to your surroundings.
And for that 5-footer from the retention pond, free at last. And as Alligator Joe always says,
we can all live together.
Alligator Joe estimates there are several thousand alligators living on Hilton Head Island. He feels like he has seen or met almost all of them at one time or another.